Parents usually feel how their daughters are going to manage in the society. Instead of motivating their child by saying that it's okay to be deaf, they ask their able siblings to take care of them. This makes the deaf child extremely dependent on the family and is a recurring problem in almost all deaf women. I understand the problems that all of you have faced. Where do you think Western countries like America succeeded and India failed?
Education is an integral aspect. If the child is educated properly, he develops confidence and becomes stronger. If not educated properly, the child has no confidence in himself. So teachers need to be more aware of such aspects.
When a deaf child goes to a hearing school, he copies what is written on the board. Most of the times, he doesn't even understand what is being taught because there is no usage of sign language to impart the knowledge.
I want to add to her statement. There's a lot of problem faced by deaf children in terms of learning and grasping the English language. Second, parents should not be overprotective towards the girl child. If there are time limits for a girl child, then it should apply for the boy as well. Both of them should be treated equally. Instead of asking questions like where are you going, by what time will you come back, only to the girl, the boy should be asked the same. Only when a boy and a girl are treated equally can we see some change in development in India. It is the responsibility of both the parents to nurture their child, be it a girl or a boy, equally to bring some change in India. By not doing so will lead to failure.
Awareness is extremely important. The hearing people can hear and be more aware of the things around them. But for the deaf, they become aware through visuals in sign language. If they are made more aware, they feel empowered and can bring about a change in the society.
Most news channels don't have subtitles and hence isn't accessible to the deaf community. Only an hour is dedicated for the deaf with subtitles, while the hearing community has the benefit of listening to it 24 hours. Why not create a special channel for the deaf where sign language is being used to spread the news? This way, everyone is aware and can learn new things.
What are the challenges and problems faced by you while growing up? Did you ever feel neglected or excluded by the society? Can you share some of the instances?
During my school days, I didn't know what menstruation was. I saw blood and didn't understand what was happening. I had told my mother that I was having cramps in my stomach. My mother asked me to just drink hot water, but I still couldn't understand what was going on. I was 15 when I started menstruating. I drank water, but that wasn't helping. My mother then told me that I was menstruating. She started panicking and asked me not to touch anything. That scared me even more. Earlier, we used a cotton cloth for menstruation. One day, when I was about to throw it, my father started shouting at me, and at that time I couldn't understand it due to a communication barrier. Later, my friend asked me to use a sanitary pad instead of a cotton cloth. I bought the pads, but it got stuck to my vagina and it was very difficult for me to remove it then. There was no one to teach me and there was no awareness. This is a very big problem. I have been through a lot of ups and downs and I learned from my own experience. But there are a lot of deaf women in India. Do they get proper guidance? There should be a deaf person or someone who can teach the deaf through visuals. The hearing community learns about such things easily, but we, deaf women, are facing these problems on an everyday basis.
When the topic of menstruation comes in a deaf school, teachers usually avoid and skip this topic. This is not the case with a hearing school. Teachers give proper lectures on menstruation and the students learn from it. But for the deaf, they have no access to such information and no usage of sign language.
The most important point for me is 1. Education, 2. Language.
I think for me, language comes the first and then education, because if there is language, only then one can get educated. My final question to all of you is, what do you think should be focused more on in our country?
might want to focus on few points. They are sign language in recognition, education, and monthly training for hearing parents to learn sign language who have deaf children.
Anyone else who wants to add to it?
There are many deaf schools in India. I want a deaf woman teacher to be there in these schools who could interact with these children in sign language and teach them about menstruation, good touch and bad touch. This will directly help these children gain confidence. Each school must have at least one deaf woman teacher who can teach these kids. There shouldn't be any school that should be left behind, because if there's a deaf teacher present, the child will understand better as compared to a hearing teacher, as she would be able to sign better and use proper expressions.
I have never come across a deaf doctor. There are so many hearing doctors but no deaf doctors. It would be great if we have more deaf individuals coming into the field, which would help us communicate better. However, this does not happen now because of the lack of education.
Earlier, people used to laugh when they would see a deaf person signing, although now they don't. But they also don't know the signs. Initially, people were not aware about the sign language and deaf people, but now when they are aware, they ignore them. NAD has been protesting to add sign language in schools as a part of their co-curriculum. Books related to sign language, weekly trainings on sign language should be provided in schools. We are more than happy to teach sign language to these kids. There should be exams held once in a while in order for kids to practice and not forget the signs.
I would like to thank all of you for taking out your precious time, and thank you for watching our talk show.